Welcome to Chapter 7 of Storming Babylon. In this chapter, we will continue to explore the exciting and action-packed world of this thrilling book. We hope you are enjoying the story so far and are eager to find out what happens next. As we delve deeper into the plot, we encourage you to immerse yourself in the exciting events that unfold. From thrilling action scenes to heart-pumping moments of suspense, Storming Babylon is sure to keep you on the edge of your seat. We appreciate your support and hope that you continue to enjoy the journey we have in store for you. Thank you for enjoying the story, and we look forward to sharing more with you in the upcoming chapters. Chapter 7: Old Friends and Colleagues.
Adam awoke alone in his office. He was still strapped down to the medical table and feeling markedly better than he had for days. The good doctor was nowhere to be seen, leaving the giant alone with his thoughts. The sound of someone rising from the corner of the room made him turn his head. The sight of the well-dressed undead gangster was rare but not unwelcome. Adam sat up, carelessly tearing the straps that held him down a moment before. His hair needed to be fixed in such a company. He pressed back the hair from his face. His eyes remained on his guest as he finally found some choice words for his council compatriot.
"This is a surprise, Giovanni. Are you here to part me out now that I'm a mess?"
Papa Mac stepped into the light of the surgical lamps with a tactical grin.
You've been a mess a long time, Stitches. Ain't worth the effort that us here mismatched mag out quite yet. Besides, you got bigger problems.
Do tell.
The banter was playful, but the subtlety of inflection the two shared was a long-developed thing. After all, Giovanni had taught him about sincerity, the old-world concept of saying something other than what you mean, but without lying.
You got your ego in over his head, Adam. He's running around town picking up ears and eyeballs wherever he goes.
Iger, are you still mistaking Artem for his grandfather?
The vampire cocked his head in mockery at that.
Dense as dead flesh still. Your boy Atrem reached out to me and mine. He got Stati Uniti worried, so I figured he'd tiptoe in and look at ya. Can't he have you lounging about while the rest of Stati Uniti go about honest work?
There it was, the telltale headache that came each time Giovanni was up to his regular antics. Adam had never come to terms with how childish the mob boss could be. He had been this way since the bad old days when he first arrived in America. Back then his gambling was far more deadly, but he eventually softened as he became more of a man of means. What had always been strange were his minions. Almost everyone was cut from stern cloth, quite the opposite of the papa. Even the silver-tongued Lorenzo was a capable professional. The only scenario Adam could ever imagine bringing such a meticulous group under the mafioso was one in which they desired to care for him, like some burdensome elder. He suspected vampire mafia culture was strange enough to justify its thesis in social sciences, and there were many layers beneath those observable to him. In the century they had known each other, he had never been able to see anything more than the surface of their integral relations with one another. He let out a resigned sigh and growled a curt response.
"We have a lobby. You could have come in like everyone else. Aside from that, accusing me of laxity when you barely raise your voice at meets, nor do much more than run your tiny gambling empire that is rich."
Giovanna slapped Adam's shoulder with a catty grin.
You wound me, Stitches. My very legitimate business pays a hell of a lot more to the council than them thespians or the flea beater, and the meets are a great plus to catch a lovely nap, so I take advantage.
Adam found his attire and started donning it as he continued the conversation. He had to nod in fair acceptance of Giovanni's point. His casino alone paid the land taxes and service fees for Babylon last year.
"I will be the last to say you don't do anything to help, but you should be more concerned with the meat policy."
Giovanni chuffed.
Whenever uno try to put my 2 cents in on the day-to-day affairs, you keep smacking me down thinking I'm trying to get in for a grift. After a while, it just became easier to keep my mouth shut.
Adam wanted to return to the subject.
"What did Artem get himself into?"
That little bambino of yours showed up scared half to death. Was willing to sign any deal so you could keep your ticker talking.
"I will have to have a talk with him about this."
Not this time. Kiddo spilled the beans. You fallinate a pieces and running out a ways to get more. Stop keeping him trapped under your wing while ya play the martyr.
Giovanni Machiavelli, your advice is unwelcome. We may be associates, but that will change if you try to push me around like one of your barfloozies.
Stein knew this play. He had seen many fall for it. Friendly advice slowly descended to strong suggestions, demand, and then total control. It was Papa Mac's signature style. Giovanni snapped back with matching venom, letting pretense slip away.
I'll do as he please, you past-dated pile of bolts. You should know by now that Uno tell you what needs to be said. This ain't in New Amsterdam anymore, we ain't enemies. We ain't no associates. We fought and bled together on these streets. You best call me a friend. The alternative is a lot worse.
The adage was something to the order of keeping friends close and enemies closer. What it forgot to mention was that enemies could become the most irritating of friends given enough time in proximity. Adam wanted to take the mobster down a peg but knew Papa Mac's words were as genuine as the man could manage, so words would have to do.
So this is a friendly visit, is it?
That, and a touch of professional courtesy as well. I'm putting my boy on the case.
Adam raised an eyebrow in earnest shock. It had been a long time since Giovanni had even mentioned his son. The last known relations between them were distant and strained. There had been something about his son returning from the war with a chip on his shoulder. This was an interesting morsel of information.
You have rekindled relations with your son.
Mac's eyes grew dark.
Not quite. Let's just say he's an associate.
That's not what I meant.
This city needs you alive and kicking. I trust them paps at Itemis to chase tell more than find clues, the choice was obvious.
Adam turned to a nearby table to get his cufflinks but realized he didn't have a reason to wear one of the matching pairs. Papa Mac helped him into his shirt and buttoned the heavily starched garment. Adam racked his brain for a long moment, trying to formulate a plan to pry more information from his friend. When he looked back at where Mac had been standing, he found himself alone in the room. The villain had pulled one of his famous disappearing acts. Papa Mac never changed. He was always the prankster with a flair for the dramatic.
Damn you, Machiavelli,